And get a bit of focus. There we go. All right. Hey guys, how you doing? David, Bassman. Now, everybody else who doesn't know me, if you don't know me, hang on, I'm just going to adjust that because I'm sort of on. That's probably a better angle. Nah. Um, yeah, for those who do not know me, I'm Rob the Builder. Can we build it? Yes, we can. Today we're continuing our work on the Tiger Fake wheels. So many wheels. I'm in no great hurry to go anywhere. Yeah, you doing, man? I'm in no great hurry to go anywhere this morning. So we'll see how many we get done. I think it's the drill. I'm quite happy to certainly put a couple of good solid hours in on the wheels. If we can get them done, well, I doubt we'll get all of them done. You never know, though. Can't hurt to give it a whirl. See how we go. Now, in the meantime, let's get this bin out of the way. What's it doing there? Very pointless place for it to be as it happened. In we come. A bit more. Right. Before we get started, as always, oh yeah. When it comes to coffee, I'm like Homer Simpson with beer. Yeah. Now, I didn't do the two that I had left over, but as I said, I'm in no great hurry to go anywhere today. So that's, yeah. Now, these are all 8s. What I'll do is, now the bag that they were in was this one. So the ones we've done, we can, hang on a moment. I see, yep. Now, take all the ones that we've got completed off of these. Why is there oh, there we go, that's why. And what I'm going to do is I'll complete those two before I even open up another bag, and then I'll isolate them somewhere to dry so that therefore I don't get my numbers mixed up, as that is clearly a big thing. Now we'll pop them, not pretty much anywhere will do. Excuse me. Now, give me a brief moment. And I'm back. Now, colour. Boom. Now what I might do actually, I will pop completed sets to the right. My notion being that I'll well, that way I won't have to go, oh, are these done? No, well, no, because they are on the right. The incomplete ones will be on the left. Who would have thought? Such organisation, eh? Cool. Now, where's the, here we go. Come here, you. Oh, yeah, this is, Jesus. This paper doesn't really want to come out. Come on now. Stop that. There we go. Might need to get a fresh dooflicky. Yes. A dooflicky. And it's looking reasonably mixed. It shouldn't take, well, it hasn't taken too long because, of course, it was used yesterday. There we go. Nice easy pour. But of course, getting paint on my hands. Marvy. Now. We shall go with this one will do us nicely. Bing. Get some gogs on. Get my gogs on. Whoa. Excuse me. Where did I put them? Oh, here they are. You're gonna see. There we go. There we go. Now. This one foist. Let's have a look. Yes, and there we go. Now, let's see. Actually, that's pretty tidy on that side. Pretty happy with that. Here we go. On the edge. There we go. Deedly. Now, across we go. Nice. Right. All right. And a bit more there. Excuse me. So a little onto there, I reckon. Just there we go. Now, this side. Now we're pretty solid. Nice one. Well, that was a cooperative one. Now, for the time being, I'm going to put it here, but when I get onto the next batch, I'll put them on a different plinth so that I know that they are 8s. Now, let's have a look. Good. It's mostly stuff on the edges. If anything, I've gone too far with the tyre black on most of it. A lot of it's not going to matter in truth. Because of where they're going to be located. It'll matter on the 6s perhaps a bit more. That's by the looks of the assembly sheets anyway. Nope. Come on here. I'll get them out of the way. I think that will facilitate. Bit of clarity. Now, gonna need to get a bit more heavy duty here. And almost. Oops, got a bit clunky to the paint there and got it right over the ferrules. That's not a great outcome, but never mind. All right. There we go. Right, that's those two done. So what I'll do, I'm going to take my goggles off from once this here. As I said, make sure that I know they are not from the next batch that we're going to do. I'll put them on a separate little dooflicky. It'll require me, I might quickly give this a clean just so as it doesn't start, the paint doesn't start drying while I set up the next lot and get this and depending on what the next batch look like from the viewpoint of how much I'm going to need to touch up and what I'm going to need to touch up on them. You know, I do sometimes, as a quick little irrelevant aside, I do sometimes ponder as to whether I should use the term touch up because some people will take that in different contexts. I know what I mean, but there's, he's been given a bit of a touch up, as in a bit of a hammering. There's, well, he touched me up, as in felt up. There's touch ups, as in doing little tidy ups on your paintwork. So, yeah. I often wonder whether I should use that term in this context because depending what part of the world you're from, you might be doing, he's doing what off on a live stream. Now, give me a moment. And just clearing the nostrils, as it were. Now we'll use this one. Excuse me. Now we're not going to. I've got another stick of that, so we'll make a bit bigger mound for that. Two toothpicks to go into. That should be big enough. Yoink. Splatch. Yoink. Splatch. Boom. Listen to me, Jesus. Now, having done that, we'll therefore require that we get 2 more toothpicks and put a bit of blue tack on them. Eins, zwei. Now, next, put that through there. There we go. There we go. One. And here's the other one. Now, splatch. Excuse me, again. There's my goggles. Next set of wheels. Boom, here we go. Right. Actually, here's an interesting notion. I was just thinking, give me a moment. Aha. Now these are ones that we can get. These are double wheels. So that's actually going to save us, definitely going to save us some time. By virtue of the fact that there's a portion of the inside we're not going to need to go to. So let's get them going, shall we? Get the wheels going. It's a shitload, mate. The Germans are always known for their efficiency and shit like that, and I've got to think, surely there's a more efficient way than. Actually, I can do a rough count for you. 8. If you count these as individual ones, so we're actually sort of reducing the amount it actually is. 16. Yep. 24. And because 2 of those need to go together, you're still looking at 32 wheels. If you count the doubles, that would make it 48. And it's just like, what the fuck, man? If you look at the standard Sherman, that seems to have a whole lot less wheels. I thought, therefore, that would make it a whole lot more serviceable. I mean, that's what you want. This is what you want. This is what you get. Oh, hey, Morton Bay, how you doing, man? Push that on a bit more. Ooh, that's a bit rumpty. Yeah, I'm going to have to do some work on the side, so I will need actually, our good friend, the Citadel, would be a good option. Now, oh, for fuck's sake, get on there. What are you doing? Come on now. Stop that. There we go. You need a bit more space than that. And finally, splitch, splash. Yeah. Well, it seems we're all doing all right then. That's a good thing. Well, I'll carry from the Sultans of Swing. Because he doesn't mind if he doesn't make the scene. I don't know too many lyrics out of. I don't know many order. I know bits and pieces, but yeah, the old Harry doesn't mind if he doesn't make the scene. He's got a daytime job. He's doing all right. See, Mark Ruffalo had a bit going on as a guitarist, you got to say. Now, let's get down to business. And why is my hand doing its fall asleep thing? Hey, I do not need that knees bent advancing behavior, I tell you. Now, let me just get some feeling back in the fingers, guys. Come on now. Stop that. It's silly. We want something rugged and military. Ooh, don't look now, dear. Look, just minced in with the sergeant major. You won't get me, dear. You... Don't know if you guys have ever seen that one from. I first saw it on Monty Python's. What was it? And now for something completely different. But yeah, had this camp military drill. You couldn't afford me, dear. Was one of the lines. Two, three, four. We all know where you've been, you military fairy. Was it? Now, let's do this. Hang on a moment. Hey, George, how you doing? Excuse me. Bit more paint is clearly needed in the brush. Delay now. Well, don't know how many It was the as there's a when they put what and now for something completely different is, so far as I can gather, is a compilation and stuff, or a lot of it's stuff from their TV show, but it's also strung together by bits that they put in, I think. And oops. There's a character who's by the uniform that he's wearing, he's quite a high rank in the British Army. I don't know exactly what the rank would be, but pretty high up. He bemoans this sketch featuring Hell's Grannies as getting silly. And that's when he says, we want something rugged and military, some precision drilling. And that's when it drops into the, ooh, don't look now, dear. But later in the movie, there's a sketch where it's called Postal Blackmail. Basically, it's got these. It's hosted by Michael Palin. He plays the host, and what he basically they play videos until somebody rings up and pays the relevant fee for their identity not to be revealed. And one of them, it's quite obvious that it's we'll call him the major in question. And as the dollars start going up higher and higher, and you see Palin at one stage look out to the camera, brave man, and till eventually, of course, the phone rings, and then it cuts to the major, who's played by Graham Chapman. You see him on the phone going, looks out frantically, slams it down quickly, goes, that was silly. So, yeah. Alrighty. Time to go around the outside. You all know the song. I'll spare you. No, I won't spit. We're going round the outside, round the outside. I think we might be making the right time when all of this stood up today. So we might even be able, we are making reasonably good time on this. We may be able to get a second set done on top of this. That would be good. Only downside, only thing that would be an impediment to the process would be the setting up of the extra lot of toothpicks. But if we can reduce... Actually, I know what I'll do. I have a cunning plan. Yes, I do. What I'll do is, because some of those wheels need to go together, the ones that are not painted yet. Now, what that means is, of course, that those bits that are not visible, once they're glued together, it becomes an area that I don't need to tidy up. So if I can glue them together, so get these done, glue them together, we'll actually have, in a sense, reduced the amount of painting we need to do. So if I can get that achieved today, I will be well happy. If I get that, if I get all of that done, and another set of wheels on top, I'm very happy. because then it would only probably require one more session on the wheels, at least in this colour, and then it's the yellow tidy ups. Hey. But she's going to look good. Now, it's also occurred to me that it's what I might do with the Zimmerit, is I'm probably going to put that on before I either paint or assemble, just because I think it's going to be easier. What's that? Facebook notification. I've got a little ding on my computer for a briefly exciting moment. I thought it was something rather more interesting than just a Facebook notification. Or at least I don't find them that exciting. Maybe I'm wrong. Here we go. And just come on into here a bit. And almost done. Got an idea, because I reckon some of these are not going to, because of the bigger area here, like going across with two wheels, there we go, I'd be perhaps better suited for the heavier brush. So what I'm going to do is, first, just going to go around the side edges on our wheels and tidy up those bits that require it. And then I'm going to clean that brush, get the bigger brush out, and that will make it much easier and quicker to what about this side? So it's only going to be these edges with this brush, and then once it comes to the double edge, I'm just going to grab a bigger brush and go boom. Yes, I am. Boom. Now. There we go. Now, and boom. There's that bloody hand again. What's it doing, eh? I ask you. Very frustrating it is. Now this hand's bloody started. Oh, for fuck's sake. Really? Where is the love, eh? Now. This side. Oh, it's a bit rumpty. Fuck's sake. This is actually becoming a problem now because, as you know, it's kind of hard to grip things when your hand's gone asleep. Which one's going to require to go all the way around? Wow. Okay. Such is life. Oop. Oh, hey, Alex, how you doing? Oh, hey, Big Racer. No, I don't think I'll be dreaming about it, mate. I think there's another adjective you want to be using. Actually, is that an adjective? Let me see. To dream, to have I guess it's a noun, a nightmare. Um, Slowly but surely. But yes, you are correct. They're a bit of a. Do you mind? Dearie me. And the answer is no, they do not mind. Now, have I done the other side of this one? I don't think I have. Bugger. Dearie me. All right. Did I do this side? No. There's only a little bit that needs to be done, happily. Hey, Columba. I asked a Chilean friend of mine as to what "Hey, Columba" actually translates as to in Spanish. And whoops, days. I need to focus again. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Um, but yeah, what was I getting at or getting to? I was going to say something anyway. Oh, that's it. That's all good. This side. Uh-huh. No, because I've just done that side. Haven't I? Maybe thicken that up a bit more. There we go. All right. 2 around the edges. Now, what was the other one I'd done around the edges? Is this one done? It has been. Yep. Let's have a look. Wouldn't mind having another look at this one. Yeah. All right. That's actually the next one I need to do. Maybe Rob knows this to be true. I saw this thing on YouTube yesterday, and it was galactic issues Darth Vader faces every day, and it had him on a Starship cruiser saying, "We've got the best tech in the galaxy, and I still can't get a Star Cruiser with a decent coffee machine." And Force destroying its little appliance. And yeah, there's one with him holding a mug saying "Best Dad Ever," and he's like, "Oh, this is the best present I've ever got." Well, Luke's just being sarcastic. What else was there? There's a whole stack of things of that sort of nature that were pretty funny. Now, back you go. And finally, which one? This one, I'd say. Yep. And that's 4 that gone around the edges. Then we'll go around the edges of the other 4. Then we'll get the big brush out. Then we'll do some gluing. Now, time-wise, oh, I'm unfamiliar with that, to be honest, Alex. Now, first things first, I haven't watched, I don't know, is that on television or a streaming service? I don't know these things. I haven't watched anything of that nature in something approximating, that one's actually come up quite well. I thought, by the looks, I'll just check that again. I could maybe tidy that up a bit. In years, literally, I have to be over somebody else's house for me to be watching TV. I usually watch stuff on YouTube, or I'm working on my. I don't have a television. I have everything I watch is on the computer. So, as you can imagine, that's a whole new. Well, I basically don't watch anything I don't want. I'm not aware of. I'm just not that into TV. I never was. But do you illuminate me? I may yet track it down. Now, very good. All right. Bam. Oh, these are all. Right. Let's do that. All righty. I know the one you mean. Yeah, that's very, now that was that the one narrated by Richard Burton? Because it was quite a big thing, and it's or at least featured some narration by him, I believe. Yeah, it was quite a big thing in its day. Which was, I believe, probably the 70s. It was the one I'm thinking of. You gotta say, H.G. Wells certainly inspired a whole thing with one single novel, didn't he? And you know, I've only read it once as a teenager. I've got it. I have all of H.G. Wells in my library. So I should probably give it a whirl again. And Phil Lynott, the late Phil Lynott, sadly. Mind you, happens to everyone. Even happened to Ozzy. Phew, yeah, it was a shock. Although when I saw him at his last show, I knew it wouldn't be long. Sadly. It would have been a mighty effort just to get on stage, even in that chair. All right. Getting places here. Just got a little spots there. Bam. I think when it comes to tidying up the yellow, I'll do a similar approach. I'll cut in, then get a big brush. Look, some of the, I mean, it came out when I was a kid. But even, I don't know if I'd say a kid, but can't remember how old I was. But I do remember, there's a lot of it I do distinctly remember. And there's a bass line. I believe it's the Triffids bass line, as in it's associated with the Triffids, that I wouldn't mind. I have heard, and it's got a kind of feel to it. And wouldn't mind I haven't spent the time to work it out, but I probably will, for no better reason than that's kind of cool as the feel. Actually, I'll tell you what I heard yesterday, that you're going to be saying, aren't you a wee bit late to that party? But it opened my eyes. I need to explain a bit further. Last bass lesson I had, I got shown, because my teacher wants to show me some basic jazz technique so as to help me assess how to work out my own bass lines. And anyway, he gave me this chart, and basically it's a set pattern, and you just repeat it. And there's so many options you can extrapolate from that. But anyway, I've been creaming myself over that for a few days and having all sorts of fun with it. And then I had YouTube on, and I actually heard the it was a musical mashup, but it was the Bee Gees, "You Should Be Dancing," with the lyrics of "Smoke on the Water," and it worked. But what I heard was the bass line. Ho, 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 ho. And suddenly, and bearing in mind that I'm a man who most people associate with metal and classical, I've got an urge to study funk and disco. Now, although on the topic of the Bee Gees, you know their song Night Fever. I always think of it would be far more amusing and entertaining as Night Beaver, in terms of this. Oops. You got this beaver. He'd probably have either a cigar and probably a cigar in his hand, some sunnies, strutting through the forest. You'd have the bear as the bouncer, and it's this sort of like nightclub in the forest. And as he struts in, sort of like high fives the bouncer, checks out the the raccoons who are hanging by the bar. He's the night beaver. Night beaver, night beaver. Yeah. All right. All right. Now, just need a little touch there. There we go. That's what I think I've already done. Rubbing. One more. Let me just, yep. Now which one is it? Nice one, big boy. It's just, well, easy way to find out. Just look, Rob. Definitely not that one. Ouch, itchy nose. It's bad timing. No, that one's all good. I've done that one, I recognise it. Because it's the yellow paintwork was a bit yucky. I think I might be good. Then in which case it's time for the big brush. Oh god, that nose is so itchy, I don't know why. There we go. And yep, big brush time. Jolly good. We'll clean this brush. Now, based on the time taken, I would suggest there's every possibility that we may well get another set of wheels done as well after this. Certainly going to glue those other ones. And that shouldn't take too long, let's face it. Gluing's not a time-consuming thing beyond letting shit dry. So, yeah. And that will mean that there's only, hopefully, well, at least in this colour, only going to be one more stream. And then we've got the yellow. Yellow. Yellow again. Now, rinse. Now, doing it the easy way. This one's got a suitable reservoir of paint in the brush. There we go. Yeah, that's definitely the way to get shit done on these ones. Way quicker on the outside, at least. Boom, boom, done. One. Now, and that would be 2. Very shortly. There we go. There we go. 2. That's upside down. So is this one. But it shows the benefits of the blue tack from the viewpoint of holding shit in position while you're painting. Alrighty. Coming along. Nice and easy. Last one on this one. Now, I think what might hold us back from completing another set once we've done the gluing is the setting up process. Now, I could be wrong. We'll see about that, shall we? Well, at least we've got 2 sets complete now in this color. As I said, we've still got to redo or do our tidying up on the yellow. All right. Splatch. Next. All right. This is good. This is very good. Bing. There we go. I've got an idea I have. It's a pretty obvious one, but okay, so if I just go, that's what I'm working on, yoink. Once I put that back in, rotate. I will know which ones I have done without actually looking. That's been a bit of a thing for the sides, so I'll bear that in mind in the future. Yeah. Bam. Bam. Might get that one a bit more into there, perhaps. Just for... And it should be like that. Now. Oh, hey, John, how you doing? Oh, mate. Yeah. The saga of the tank wheels. Best way I can put it to you is I'm surprised there isn't a Star Trek episode where you get something along the lines of, let me see if I can do this, like, Stardate 3527. I'm building more fucking wheels. I'm painting more fucking wheels. Spock says I should stop, but there's so many. Or maybe you get a little Churchillian with it. Something along the lines of, well, there's got to be some paraphrase. You'll never have so many for, with reference to. Wait, I've got it. Never, in the field of human modelling, have so many wheels been painted by so few. No, in the field of scale modelling, it would have to be, wouldn't it? Of course, not human modelling. There we go. Oh, well, good night then, Alex, when you need to go to sleep. All right. And finally, das. Yes, we were discussing the ludicrous amount of wheels on a Tiger tank earlier. I can't see how this fits the description of German efficiency. Maybe it's just me. But there we have it. I mean, as I said, the Sherman doesn't seem to have this many, and that was perfectly, in fact, very functional. Let's not be shy now. Damn fine tank, the Sherman. Now, boom, that's them done. Winning. Clean brush. Goggles off. Now, I believe the Tiger, well, I mean, our first port of call is to finish the wheels, sadly. It'll be a while before this is done. Well, tomorrow's Wednesday, and I was going to get some deckling done on the P51D, and depending on time, the BF109A. and maybe get as much deckling as I can and them done on the next 3 days. Might even knock the deckling off, you never know. And then I'd probably get back to the Tiger on Sunday. By which time on Sunday we should be able to finish all the actual rubber on the wheels off, and then we'll spend a couple of days getting the yellow done. But then, good sir, we should be able to return to the main assembly and painting of that and all that sort of a dealio. And then it'll be on like Donkey Kong. Yeah, it's getting late for you, David. Yeah, the Mustangs. Actually, I've got the one I got it in arm's reach. Give us a moment. Stop that! Get on there, damn you! Why, you little. There we go. Let me just rinse this and I'll show you, Alex. And then I'll get back to the Tiger now, or the wheels at least. Boom. Here she is. Bing. Yep. It's a Hasegawa. The interior is actually from an Armour Hobby P51B. That basically the wings were requiring a ridiculous amount of filing to. In fact, I couldn't get them in straight out, so I just figured, well, because the interior was beautiful, so I put it in here. And that's indeed where I got that. Let's see if we can get the light on that one. There we go. That vent there. That one there. So yeah. But we'll be getting onto that tomorrow, put some decals on that. Now, but yeah, look, it was it's undeniable that the Mustang changed the air war in Europe. Because, of course, well, shit, fighter escort all the way to Germany and back. Thank you, linesman. Thank you, ball boys. And it says a lot that even Goering, drug-addled though he was, said that as soon as he saw Mustangs over Berlin, he knew the gig was up, or the jig was up. So, yeah. Yep, 5s, and we need 7s. Interestingly, a Luftwaffe pilot was asked if he was on the Allied side, which aircraft would he have rather flown, the Mustang or the Spitfire? And the response was actually very interesting. It was that he said, it depends. If I was flying over Berlin, the Mustang, because I'd be able to get back home. If I was flying over the UK, the Spitfire. The inference being, I guess, that now let's have a look at how the 5s and 7s go together. Let's grab a 5. Let's grab a 7. And what have I grabbed here first? Let's be clear on that. That's a 7. This, therefore, should be a 5. And is. Very good. Ah, like that, eh? They go together like that. Now, do I need any filing? Yes, I do. So we'll get these all properly set up. File. But yeah, I guess the inference there is that in general terms, the Spitfire was a better fighter, but in terms of maneuverability and all the rest. But what good's that to you if you're not going to be able to get home? And the Mustang was a very capable fighter, of course. It was exceptional. But yeah, an interesting observation from that side of things, I thought. Now, I'm trying to decide if I should plug up that paint on the grounds of I'm not sure if I'm going to be using it again today. I probably will. It depends on how long this process takes. I'm hoping not long. I am usually wrong on that front. That's the issue there. Now, glue. Well, that is the deal, isn't it? Yeah, it's... Yes, they all had their pros and cons. That's the reality. Yes, that's a very good, fair statement, a very accurate statement. Let's face it, so you bing. That should be a 5 then. Yep. The Mosquito is a different thing altogether. And they did a lot of all those different aircraft, and as you say, the Corsair and indeed the Hellcat for the Pacific theatre, ideal. Absolute, exactly what you want, you know? Horses for courses, as they say. You stay on there, by golly, my gosh. There we go. One. Next. This is a 7, so we grab a 5. Okay, 7. 5. Alrighty. Now, next. This will give us 2. Yeah. Yeah, man. There we go. Diddly. Splatch. How else was this? I'm getting very keen on the idea of seeing if we can get that other round of tires painted. Let's see, kids. Or at bare minimum, set up. Let's see how we go. I'm certainly willing to go to 2 hours on the stream. Maybe longer. See how we go. No, that's a 7, is it? Just check. Yep. Oh, look. Actually, Bowfighter, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people, when it comes to those sort of 2-engined aircraft that the Brits had, yeah, everybody raves about the Mosquito, but the Bowfighter did a lot of really important work through the course of the war. The main one's got a big soft spot for him because his grandfather at one stage he used to do behind the lines work, and he would radio stuff through, or part of his squad's job was to radio information through to a certain command post, or somehow get the information through to a certain command post, which would then pass that through to Bowfighter squadrons to have a go at German convoys. I think it was in the Mediterranean. Oops, wrong way around, Rob. What are you doing? What are you doing, boy? What are you doing? Here we go. That's better. All right. Yeah, it's and some of the planes that were really, really effective are actually often underrated. I'll be guilty of some of that in terms of regards to the Buffalo. Was, I believe, a very effective aircraft, and I was. I mean, to me, it's an ugly-looking thing. Does it make it any less effective? No. Actually, the kings of ugly aircraft have got to be the Soviets with the Polikarkov. But I believe it was a very good aircraft. All right. Fun fact about the grandfather of my mate who used to radio or take part in communicating that information about the German supply ships. He actually reckoned, according to my mate anyway, that war wasn't actually that bad. And I quote, to my understanding, it's just like camping, just very dangerous camping with very specific rules. And you think, really? But yeah, he reckoned if you did followed what you're supposed to do. It's just a bit scary at times. And you think, no kidding. Which I got to say, given the amount of deep trauma that I've seen or known that veterans do clearly experience, you've got to say, just like camping, I don't think so, mate, but whatever. Some people do find it a very, I'm just checking first. I'll give that a bit of a file. Don't find it quite so harrowing for some reason. How you wouldn't, I don't know, but we'll leave that discussion there. Now, itchy, excuse me a moment. All right, we're making really good progress actually today, though, despite the fact there's so many wheels. Now, we are getting there, boys and girls, and others. Now, what is that? I seem to be getting, I don't know. It's another Facebook notification. Apparently it's somebody's birthday. Well, you don't say, Sherlock. There's lots of birthdays. Dearie me. Now, next, glue. Now, on the assumption that I managed to get what have I done? Hang on. Oh, that's okay, I think. That might rub. On the assumption that I get because there's one other set of wheels after this. After I've glued all these together, obviously done the tidy ups, there's also another set of wheels. Dear God. And actually, while I think too, okay, no, that's okay. And if I get them done today, these will be the ones that we will do on the last stream in this color. Yeah, oh, hey, Budgie Mama, how you doing? No, no worries being passed. I kind of like the bogies. Just watching birds is cool. Actually, I actually have I might have shared with you. I have I put a bird bath out the front and my place. I don't because I rent. And it's renting's different in different countries, to my understanding. And in Australia, if you're renting, and of course that may require moving. In Australia, or at least it does in Australia. I know in some countries you can rent pretty much the same place for years and years and years, and it's quite normal. It's not so common in Australia. Anyway, yeah, having a pet's going to potentially be an impediment to the process, and that includes just a bird. But yeah, I put a bird bath out the front and throw my bird seed out there, and I can watch the local birds doing their thing, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I like birds. Birds are interesting. They're frequently very intelligent too. Certainly cockies are. They're cunning buggers. And aggressive at times. I used to hand feed some down at a place I used to live at until I realised that or until I caught them fighting amongst, had to sort of pair them, but more than a pair of them, a few of them out. Not sort them out, but tell them off. Because they'd fight amongst each other. And sometimes they'd get kind of pushy. And it's just like, well, no, guys. That's not how this game rolls. No, 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 son. Yeah. Yeah, look, they're very entertaining, our birds. Well, they've got quite clearly like all animals, they've got clearly identifiable personalities. That's a bit chunky. That's better. Yeah. It's interesting. And I believe even that personalities thing with animals. Yeah, nice one. That'd be very cool, Bassman. I believe that personality traits with animals goes right the way down to fish. Like, we think they're not so, that they, for some reason, being cobbleted, lack personality. Or no, apparently they do. So yeah, it's interesting. I certainly know one thing, and you, Bassman, would be able to speak of a similar experience. Anybody who thinks fish aren't at least a little bit cluey when it comes to not getting caught, they're onto shit. They know. Like, the big rule is if they can see, for those who are unaware, if you can see a fish in the water, it can see you. If you lob a bait in front of it, it's not going to hit it. They're not stupid. And I know that a mate of mine, because there's a type of fish, I think you'll get them off the coast in some parts of the US. Yellowtail kingfish. They go quite big, actually. Fully grown, a big one can get up to 100 pounds, 45 kilograms. Anyway, and there's a place called Wallaroo, and you can see them. Normally, to get a kingfish, you have to go off a boat. But you can see them in the water off the jetty at Wallaroo because it's a ship wharf. So it goes quite a long way out, and there you'll see them. And he reckons look, you can lob a lure in front of them all you like, and all they're going to do is look at you. Is there? And in the event that one of them does hit your bait, what will happen is you're going to lose not just your bait, but you're going to lose all your rig because they're going to run you straight under the jetty because they know that's where they can snap you off. And you think, yep, they're smarter than most people give. Animals are smarter than people give them credit for, or a lot of people give them credit for. And something that I have found interesting to watch or look at on occasion is the way that if you watch some animals and what they do, I mean, okay, I'm sure that you're probably aware and have heard that a lot of Chinese martial arts styles are based on the movement of animals, and yeah, you betcha they are. That's absolutely true. And it becomes quite obvious once you know what you're looking for. Anyway, point being that equally, animals also use strategy in some instances. And and what I mean by that is if you look at the way an army, when attacked, closes ranks, classically with medieval stuff. Next time you're watching a wildlife doco, see if you can find a scene, or you can probably even search this on YouTube. You can find instances where you get lions that are attacking. They're going for a buffalo, probably a young one, as they do. And these ones are slightly different because I reckon these are sixes. And they say I'm just a pretty face. All right, these ones are different in terms of we can't go all the way through. Now, that's not such a big issue on its own. Anyway, so say the lions are attacking, they're aiming to get a young buffalo. If the herd can intervene, they will close ranks in exactly the same way that an army does. And they can stare the pride down. And they will. Let's face it, you're talking about 1,000 pounds an animal. What you going to do about that? Not a lot. Here we go. Yep. Yeah, that's exactly the thing, isn't it? They know. They're just teasing you. It's just what it. Another thing that, and this again pertains to lions, but the fact that they'll usually do something to cause a herd to run one way and they'll have some others waiting. That's classic lion maneuvering. And you think it shows strategy. The ambush attack of your, and pretty much a whole stack of your predators. There's thought processes in this shit, you know? It's cool stuff to consider. I like it. I like it. Yeah. All of those are just more instances of where animals are far more intelligent than most people give them credit for. And to be perfectly honest, risk of sounding, what's the word I'm looking for? Not quite sure what the term I'm looking for is. Whatever. You can work it out for yourself. But it does even, to the point, make me wonder, should I start eating vegetarian? Because these guys actually do care about each other to some extent, you know? But then, I'm sorry, they taste pretty good too. And to be fair, in the natural environment, it's what goes down. I do eat I'm quite happy to eat vegetarian meals. They're yummy and can be very nutritious. But yeah, not quite there yet. I haven't actually watched it. I know there's a lot of again, they know how you got to consider there's a lot of intricate structure involved in what they do to be able to hold their they've got to be right on it, and it's a very complex little intertwined deal they do. That's artistry, man. And strong too, sturdy. It's impressive stuff, really. Yeah, and what materials they will pick up and use. It's not necessarily just twigs. If they can find something that'll work that in and that'll be advantageous, they'll do it. Oh, yeah, they're onto it, man. I don't know if favourite birds is the right word, but some birds that make me really go ho 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 are the birds of prey, just because and I think what that is more just their precision. You want to talk about accuracy? Boom! They just that full peregrine falcon drop, that's amazing. Blows my mind. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. But even the most humble or insignificant, tiny of animals and stuff is often quite amazing. Actually, on the topic of birds, hummingbirds. Apparently, according to physics, is it them or bees that, according to physics, they shouldn't be able to fly? And yet, I think it's the hummingbird. Because of its size and weight, in theory, it shouldn't be able to fly. Yeah, well, they've got news for you, son. Mind you, scientists also reckon that acupuncture doesn't work, or some do, not all. It's getting more credibility these days. We've been able to tell them that years ago. What, you reckon Chinese have been using it for a couple of thousand years for no reason? Idiots. Yeah. Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, that's Bassman David. Both of that's very cool. Yeah. Here's a couple of the big eagle in Australia is the wedgetail. It's not as big as some. It's not an insignificant critter, but it's certainly not as big as, say, I'll tell you what's a scary eagle, the harpy eagle. Whee, that'll ruin your day. Check them out if you don't know the one I mean. They've got claws that just like they're full on. They are I think they're not the biggest eagle, but they've certainly got the biggest claws, and they can actually swoop down and reef a monkey out of the tree. I think it is. And you think, you've got to be pretty strong to pull that shit off. But yeah, the ones in Australia, the big one, are the wedge tail. And they do get quite big. And I used to have a student who, if I filed these, I haven't, have I? Rob. Who had to do work up north where there's a lot of wedgies. Wedgies. I said wedgie. And he reckoned on more than one occasion he'd come over a rise on the highway. And you'd see the wedgies on the side of the road munging out on a bit of kangaroo roadkill. He reckoned on more than one occasion as he drove past, he was pretty much looking, and he was in a Ford Falcon. So there's a car that, okay, appropriately named, but he was in a, so it gives you an idea as to sort of like the size of the car we're talking as he goes past. And he reckons he's looking them in the eye. Now, bear in mind, they are standing on the corpse of the roo while they're eating. Oh, no, here we go. Here. And yada, yada, yada. But nonetheless, that makes him a bloody big bird. And the he reckoned one of his co-workers had been driving up north and had basically been in a position where a wedgie's been munging out on a kangaroo that's been in the middle of the road. So he's like come over a rise at God knows whatever speed. There's the dead roo wedgie. He's been unable to stop, and the wedgie's come through the windscreen, still alive, and losing its shit. Now you got to say, any wild animal in that sort of enclosed space losing its shit, get the hell out, and he did. And apparently, there wasn't much left of the car by the time. I'm not sure if the bird survived. You'd hope so. The car certainly didn't. Apparently, it was he got out. He had just enough time to grab his mobile, and make the relevant calls. Fortunately, he was in an area where there was still service. Yeah, I believe it was a thing of, you're not going to believe this, but, and yeah, and all I can think is that would be pretty frightening. I mean, let's face it, eagles are pretty full on. Those talons will do you a nasty. And then there's their beaks. Dear Lord. And again, losing its shit. Oh yay! That's what you always need, isn't it? Yeah. Alrighty, we're doing well. We're doing real well. All right. I need a mouthful of coffee, I do. Now. You know what, chaps? I'm thinking, and ladies, and others, I'm thinking that I'm going to get these wheels done. Yes, I am. But yeah, tell you what I'd really like to see, as to how I'd go about this as far as in birds, a condor. That would be something to behold. They're the biggest bird, I think, aren't they? Or even an albatross. Like a full bore, size albatross is something to check out and all, I'd think. Yeah, stiff drinks, possibly not a. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's it. I had a bird in me. He did indeed. There's no denying that. Bird in the car. Yeah, that would. Yes, it's certainly ways to ruin your day. Now, Lewis. Now let's have a look. I watched a video the other day. This will tell you. This, in fact, it tells you a lot about my viewing habits. Saw it on YouTube, and it's something I had heard about, and didn't know the exact details too. So I watched the vid, and it's something called the Emu War. Now, for those who are unfamiliar, the emu is a large flightless bird here in Australia. Similar to an ostrich, but smaller. Different colouring, of course. But yeah, emu. Anyway, apparently in the shortly after World War One, apparently a lot of soldiers were given land in Western Australia as a way of, of course, there's all these people returning from war, and they needed some form of income. So the government gave them farms, land out in Western Australia, yada, yada, yada. And that's all well and good, except there's a whole shitload of emus out there. And apparently they were pretty much, as soon as the farmers threw down any seed, of course, it's like an all-you-can-eat buffet for them emus, and they go eat it. And the farmers just couldn't, there were so many of them that the farmers couldn't do anything. And they made complaints to the government, and it got to the stage where they actually sent in the military. Now, not in a full army, but they've sent in some dudes with machine guns, because there was literally hundreds of thousands of emus, and the thing where it gets funny, and you got to say, and in some ways, so Australian. Even I can say that as an Australian, this is so Australian. So they've gone in and figured that, okay, a couple of machine guns, find a massive emus, just let rip, kill as many as you can, do that a few times, and wash, rinse, repeat. Always repeat. And the first time they've done it, they did nail a couple, but ultimately all that happened was that the emus scattered, and so they couldn't shoot them. I figured, okay, well, that was just the first try, we'll be right. Then they found a big flock of them. I don't know if it's the correct term for a collective of emus, but we'll roll with that. And the fired, and the emus have done exactly the same thing. And ultimately, it didn't matter how many times they tried, or how many guns they used, or whatever they did. Ultimately, the emus would just scatter and evade them. And in the final analysis, the emus effectively won because the Australian Army, were unable to perform any adequate culling measures on emus because they were just too evasive. So basically, they were beaten by birds. Yeah. And yeah. Excuse me a moment. I want to redo that one a little. And there we have it. The Great Emu War. What they ended up doing was putting in a fence as part of it to make it harder for them to get across. And also, they did put a bounty on them so as that ordinary people could just go hunting them, and that would therefore reduce their numbers. That was the premise. Yeah, kids. Military called in on emus. Emus win. All right. There we go. Now, all right. Getting places, boys and girls. And others. Now, as I said, if we get this set done, we've actually made really good progress this stream. And I'm going to go a step further and say when we get these done, because we're already onto our third one, they're coming together very nicely for us. So we're going to get these ones done. And that will only leave us again in this color to do those, and then we do the yellow, and then we get onto the actual building. Next. Hang on. Wait. Did I jump the gun there? I did. I know. Where is it? There it is. I'm on to you. Now. Dealy. Now. Well, this will be the halfway point. Wicked. Done well. Right. Right. Deary me. And all I can say at this stage is, oh, we're halfway there. I was never much of a Bon Jovi fan, to be honest. I believe the guy does something that I do view as commendable, which is he has this cafe which does help feed poor people, I believe. Well, that's part of its aim. Set up in a way that enables people to a person without much money can go there and eat. And that's all good. But musically, yeah, nah. And oop. Partner is an emu. That's funny as fuck. I think I told you about having an emu at a zoo once, remove an apple from my hand, and I was completely unaware. I was just walking along. There's a place up in the hills here, and it's like, yeah, it's not a big zoo. It's just a place with some animals kept, and you can go and have a look. It's nice. It's a very pleasant little place. Anyway, in one of the enclosures are some emus, and I was walking along, munging down an apple, and had it in my hand like here, sort of arranged, and suddenly the apple was gone. And there was a blur, and the apple was gone. And as I looked to the left where the blur had come from, it was an emu that basically, there's an emu munging down the apple, and it had done a precision strike to remove it straight from my hand. And you got to say that's A, impressive, and B, a little scary in its own way. But you can see how the whole white crane style comes into play. White crane's very effective. It will ruin your day as a martial arts style. I'm a fan. Indeed, I sort of have to because I do tiger and crane. But yeah, it's a whole other story. For the record, tiger and crane is a style that comprises both elements of tiger and crane. Hence the term, sometimes called hungar. All right. Yeah, emus, eh? They're another one that's quite tasty, I tell you. Yes, I'll eat my national symbol with and do it with actually kangaroo. That's tasty. Don't know if you ever had kangaroo. If you do, get the chance, give it a burl. It's pretty tasty stuff. I'm a fan. As I said, I'll happily eat my national symbol. They're used to be. This one's been very cooperative in many ways. A show on Australian TV called Skippy. Skippy the bush kangaroo. And Skippy was clearly a very intelligent roo, far more intelligent than any roo I can think of. Because he was able to help his the kid in the show, Bobby's, with all sorts of issues and communicate to the ranger, the father, if there was a problem. Something happened to Bobby, Skip, and yeah, once roo meat came onto the market, there's all sorts of jokes of, "What's that, Skip? You want to be eaten, Skip?" And yeah. But roo's nice. If ever you get the chance, give that a burl. That's some tasty stuff there, I tell you. Yeah, right. Interesting. Yeah, if you blink, you'll miss it. Damn right with the emu. It was, like I said, quite remarkable. And yeah, faster than he. And I can actually say this with a fair, from a fair point of reference as a person who's done a lot of martial arts, faster than any human I've ever seen. And it was the precision of the strike that had me going, "You, good bird, are an impressive individual." Yeah, like if you consider, okay, the bird's on the other side of the fence, just over to there, margin, it did not even touch my hand. It was just like, bang, thank you, I'll have that. And all you can say is, bravo. Clinical and precise. Well done, what? Yeah, I love that shit, to be honest. Oh, you had Skippy. Okay, so you know the show I'm talking about then. I saw this cartoon once, and it was had Skippy with an arm in his mouth, showing it to the ranger, whose name escapes me, but that doesn't matter so much. And this ranger saying, Has something happened to Bobby Skip? Yeah. Skippy, Skippy. Yeah, actually, here's an interesting one from the 70s as far as Australian shows that, okay, go about it this way, because there's an interesting tale I'm about to relate to you. Well, you might not find it interesting. You might. Let's find out. It goes like this. There was an Australian show in that around that same sort of a time, actually, called Boney, about an Aboriginal detective. And trust me, in its day, that would have been quite a groundbreaking little piece of cinema, TV, just because of the way Aboriginals were treated back in those days. Trust me on this. And they're not treated real well now. I digress. Anyway, now the reason I make mention of Boney is because that got played in, well, a few places, certainly in Germany. Now, the reason I make mention of this is because a DJ had a few hits with, he had some tracks and he wanted to put them out, and he was going to, he needed a name for, basically he was going to build a band, and they were going to be the front for his tracks because knew he was going to need that. And he was, apparently he'd been out one night and he was dropping off to sleep. The show was on, and as he heard Boney, well, that sounds good as a name, Boney M. And that, boys and girls and others, is how Boney M got their name. Yes, correct, David. You beat me to it. Sorry, mate. But yes, that is the tale. Yeah. Until I heard it, I was unaware of the connection. And it's an interesting tale, particularly when you consider it's a very obscure little TV series, and that's how, very well, let's face it, Boney M were a name in their time. Sold a lot of records. But yeah, ultimately they were just a front for the DJ who needed them for live show purposes. So there we go. So yes, there we have it. A wide-ranging discussion today, travelling from music through to animals. Well, yeah, well, ultimately, you can, the singers can say that all they like, but let's face it, if they're not the ones coming out with the songs, and they're just putting out what he's giving them, yeah, I've got some bad news for them. Yes, they are Boney M in as much as, or were Boney M in as much as for live purposes, but in the bigger reality, they were nothing without the guy behind him, and he could call them whatever the hell he liked, or call the outfit whatever the hell he liked. And it would have been no different without him there. What's the line? Without me, you are nothing. I made you, and I can destroy you. But yeah, he was the man who was behind it all. So, no, they weren't really Boney M. They were just some singers or performers you got together to do the job for him. Oh, that's the reality, yeah. Now, let's get this lid on again. Come on now. Stop that. Stop your knees bent. What the fuck is... Stop. What the fuck? Thank you. Bloody thing. There we go. Now, rinse. Now, I don't think I really need to give you a zoom in on what we did today, because I think you know what we did today. Lots of this. Lots of this, but we got a lot done. And that, guys, is frankly fantastic. All right. Now, and that is me done for today. Oop, one thing I'll do while I think. Grab this one, I reckon. And spletch. Zoom out. Oh, it already is zoomed out. Jolly good. All right. Whew. Well, that was a big session, but we got a lot done, and I'm pretty pleased with the outcomes. Now, I'm only going to do those double wheels with this color for one stream. Then, of course, it's the yellow we got to tidy up. And that's going to be a bit deary me as well. But, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with the outcomes. I think, yeah, we got a lot. We got a lot done here. Yes, we did. Now, tomorrow I'm thinking P51D just as a breakaway sort of a thing. With the wheels, what I might do is take a break in between the wheels or between the colors and do some Zimmerit coating at a different point when I get back onto the Tiger, just as a break sort of a thing. So it's not just wheels. All right. Okay, now, thanks for watching, everyone. I do appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Bassman. First-time viewers, you know the drill. Follow, like, or subscribe. If you'd like to track me down other platforms, I'm Rob the Builder on Facebook and YouTube, and Robster the Builder on Instagram and Twitch. And again, we follow, like, or subscribe. Or at least that's what I'm going to suggest. Tomorrow, I will be back. Yes, I will. And as I said, we're going to work on the P51D's decaling, I reckon. And depending on time, some of the 109A, perhaps. We shall see. We shall see. All right. Now, yeah, wheels and wheels. That's it. All right. Well, again, thanks for watching, guys. And I am going to be back tomorrow, as I said, at a similar kit time and on the same kit channel. And hopefully I'll catch you good people then. See yous.